From your breaking news leader, a story we brought you live all day on the air, online, on Facebook and Twitter. Chaos at Creighton University Medical Center when 3 Omaha police officers get into a gunfight with a man in the lobby. The gunman now dead. 2 of the officers hurt but will be okay. And tonight we learned that suspect who died, 39-year-old Jeffrey Layton of Decatur, Nebraska. Tonight we uncover more details on this hospital shootout in Omaha. And we're bringing you extensive team coverage on this big story tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Carol Wang.
And I'm Craig Negrelli, live at Creighton University Medical Center near downtown Omaha at 5 o'clock, nearly 8 hours after the mayhem unfolded. Let's set the scene for you. You see behind me, I count as many as a half dozen Omaha police cars, as well as police officers coming and going from the medical center. The Omaha Police Crime Lab vehicle also outside this facility at 30th and California. As you know, this is a very busy place all day. Employees, patients, visitors, visiting sick people put on lockdown right after 9 this morning. A very scary situation for the entire hospital, both inside and out. Tonight the lockdown is over and we're getting reaction from people who are inside. KMTV Action 3 News reporter Hannah Pickett has been here since this morning. Hannah, you've been here all day. Tell us about the reaction.
Well, you know, the shooter, as you mentioned, the shooter who opened fire in the hospital this morning died about 2:30 this afternoon. I talked to a lot of people who were either in the hospital at the time of the shooting or outside coming in for a regular doctor's appointment. They're still left with a lot of unanswered questions. Police and the SWAT team scour the grounds of Creighton University Medical Center. A shooter opening fire on police inside the hospital. People inside terrified, hearing a shooter is on the loose.
It's kind of scary. I mean, you're afraid when you go into work, what's going to go on?
Katie Hackle's office near the cafeteria. Sources tell KMTV Action 3 News the suspect gets into an argument with 2 on-duty police officers, shoots at them, hitting one in the foot, the other in the thigh. Officers then shoot the suspect, hitting him 4 times in the chest. The hospital on lockdown for hours. Hackle and her co-workers panic.
It's just kind of scary because you don't know what's going on right outside the door, you know, and you're just waiting for someone to come in and tell you.
Outside, a young mother bringing her son to a doctor's appointment isn't allowed in the building. She's thankful timing played in her favor.
And I'm just like, it was been crazy. If we would have came even a little bit earlier, we could have been in that situation. And that just makes me feel like, what's next?
She says there need to be more hospital security checkpoints to prevent this from ever happening again.
I'm just like, I'm scared. I'm like, you hear about other places being this bad, but then you hear about Omaha, Nebraska. A lot of people think cornfields and cows, but I'm just like, it's just getting too crazy and something needs to be done about it, I believe.
Now, still, it's very early in the investigation, and Craig, we're told that they're still working to link the shooter to Creighton University Medical Center, but of course we'll have continuing updates out here in the field as well.
Hannah Pickett starting off our team coverage here on your breaking news leader, KMTV Action 3 News, live at 5. As mentioned, there are a lot of people who come and go from this hospital at all hours of the day. You could even hear the fear in the voices of the people who spoke with our Hannah Pickett. KMTV Action 3 News reporter Sarah Tesla has been down here all day. Sarah, you talked to folks as well.
Yeah, most of the witnesses were whisked away in the police squad car going into questioning at the police center. But we did speak with one guy who was outside working on the grounds of the hospital when police asked them for help. He actually went inside looking for a guy on a payphone. He found the guy, he came out, and then the police went in. A scary scene at Creighton Medical Center. Jeff Mumm working outside when police asked him for help.
All of a sudden you heard multiple gunshots and the 2 female cops took off inside, and I don't know who was doing the shooting, if there was other cops already in there or what, but I didn't see any of that. I just heard the gunshots.
Mumm took cover when he heard the shots.
Because you never know if you hear it, but you don't know which way the bullets are going. So.
Hospital employees were told not to talk.
Did you guys see what happened?
We can't talk, sorry.
Okay.
But patients arriving for appointments aren't surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. I was born here, so I wouldn't expect a shooting here. And at a hospital especially.
It doesn't surprise me, no.
Not in a hospital?
No, not in the hospital, not in the school, not in the workplace, not in the public park, wherever. It doesn't surprise me. It's unfortunate that it doesn't surprise me.
And again, hospital employees were asked not to talk to the press, so we're not getting much information from them. But as you can tell, witnesses were visibly upset, as well as employees this morning, at this very scary situation here.
And Sarah, as you mentioned, that employee said that he saw a man on the phone with a payphone. We learned in the police news conference this afternoon that that's exactly what triggered security officers to call Omaha police. A man behaving suspiciously on the payphone who turned out to be Jeffrey Layton, the gunman. So certainly the man you talked to had his story exactly correct. Sarah Teslaw continuing our team coverage right here on your breaking news leader. Now, this all started at about 9:30 this morning, just as people here were starting their day. Hours earlier, Layton, the subject of a manhunt that ended with his truck crashing at 72nd and Q. He eventually got away from police. Now, sources tell KMTV Action 3 News hospital security guards spotted Layton inside the medical center on a payphone. They describe his behavior as despondent. Those security officers called police. We're told when officers found Layton in the East Lobby, they told him to put his hands up. Then Layton turned and shot at them. Our source says police used a taser initially on Layton, but finally ended up shooting him with bullets. Then Layton, critically hurt, rushed into surgery. Now, as we learned late today, Layton died here at Creighton University Medical Center at approximately 2:23 this afternoon. KMTV Action 3 News reporter Molly Graham is here. She continues our team coverage with the very latest on the investigation. Molly.
Right, Craig, I just spoke with Omaha police, and the hospital actually still on partial lockdown. That's what a tense situation going on inside. That gun battle inside Creighton University Medical Center here leaves 2 female officers shot, and the suspect, obviously Jeffrey Layton, dead. Police will not tell us at this point how many shots were fired or who indeed fired their guns. Now, as for the danger to all the people inside the hospital, I asked Officer Jake Bettine.
The East Lobby is not the cafeteria. There was activity going on in the cafeteria. The East Lobby is somewhat separate from the main cafeteria. So, like I had said before, anytime there are gunshots or gunfire, it is a dangerous situation. But these are the scenarios that officers are trained day one from the academy and throughout their career on how to act and what to do. So.
And again, according to witnesses, those 2 officers are female. Police will not go into any details at this point, including they are not releasing their names. As Craig mentioned earlier, the suspect on the phone and 911 operators did get a call of a despondent person inside. I'm told that the suspect, Jeffrey Layton, was actually on the phone with his mother, and that is when they walked in and the gun battle ensued. So definitely a tense situation, as I mentioned, still on partial lockdown, you know, hours after the event.
8 hours and counting, Molly. We've talked about how the investigation is ongoing and will continue throughout the night and well into the rest of the week. I know during the news conference that happened just before 4 o'clock that our viewers saw on KMTV Action 3 News in our breaking news coverage, you asked the question, how did the man get into the hospital with a gun?
Well, at this point, they kind of walked away from the mic. You know, Omaha Police Department still being pretty tight-lipped about everything, but they just said, you know, that there are no metal detectors inside, and we actually have a reporter on that for the later newscast, so we'll delve a little bit deeper into that as well. Okay, we continue to piece together what happened here today after the officer-involved shooting that claimed the life of a 39-year-old man. It tic-tac-toed from an incident in Tacoma just before midnight to La Vista to a police chase that ended at 72nd and Q, and then ultimately ended here with police shooting and killing 39-year-old Jeffrey Layton. We understand he is a husband and a father of 2 children. Much more to come tonight from Creighton University Medical Center, Carol. For now, reporting live, Craig DeGrelli, KMTV, Action 3 News.
And we'll be checking with you a little bit later. Thanks, Craig. Well, the CEO of Creighton University Medical Center thanks the police for keeping everyone safe at the hospital. The mystery tonight, no one can say why Layton ended up there.
The shooting incident at Creighton University Medical Center this morning was extremely unfortunate. We currently do not have not identified any link between the suspect and the hospital.
Meantime, tonight we're learning more about Layton, the suspected gunman. As Craig mentioned, according to the Burke County Sheriff's Office, Layton went to his wife's home in Tekamah late last night, where some kind of fight happened. KMTV Action 3 News reporter Dave Roberts joins us from Burke County to fill in the rest of the story. Dave.
Well, just moments ago, the Burke County Sheriff showed up here at Layton's home just west of Tekamah. This property is also known as the Upland Fields Hunt Club that he owned. It's something he's well known for in this community, and it's the same place that the Sheriff's Office here accuses him of starting this violent tirade. At Jeffrey Layton's home and hunt club west of Tekamah, family members didn't feel like talking.
Do you mind answering any questions? All right, we'll leave.
Neighbors willing to speak with us about Layton didn't want an on-camera interview, trying to stay out of what they call a domestic dispute. They say Layton had marriage problems and often drank, quite opposite of the impression he gave most people, including the sheriff.
He was pleasant, seemed like a nice guy.
Burke County Sheriff Robert Pickles says last night after Layton beat his wife, he threatened to kill her and her family in La Vista.
Is there a history with Mr. Layton and violence?
Not that I'm aware of. I've talked to him a few times since he's been up here. He was involved one time through our office with a misdemeanor warrant of some type. I don't even remember what it was.
People in this community, however, tell me they will remember this, how a neighbor that they all know to be so friendly could be accused of such violence. We're live west of Tekamah. Dave Roberts, KMTV, Action 3 News.
Still so many unanswered questions. And we're also learning more about Layton tonight from one of his good friends, Omaha attorney James Martin Davis. Davis tells us he can't imagine what led Layton to this deadly scene.
Jeff was a scout in the United States Army for about 4 years. He's a crack shot. He also was a tour guide at Denali State Park up in Alaska. But I've never seen him ever lose his temper. I've ever seen him get agitated. He's always up, he's always laughing. This is something that it just doesn't compute.
Once again, police confirm the suspect also connected to an early morning chase in the Omaha Metro. La Vista police say Jeffrey Layton threatened to kill his estranged wife's sister and mother. La Vista police notified by the family. Then police spot Layton near 72nd and Q. He crashes his truck and takes off on foot. Police started to look for Layton, but called off the search when they couldn't find him. We want to head back to Craig Negrelli at Creighton University Medical Center for a recap on today's events. Craig.
Carol, very good synopsis on your part. Once again, the suspect, 39-year-old Jeffrey Layton, is dead. He died here at Creighton University Medical Center just before 2:30 this afternoon. We've talked a lot about the suspect. Let's talk about the police officers involved. Two of the officers were hit by Layton's gunfire, one suffering a gunshot wound to the thigh. The other police officer shot in the foot. The good news is they've both been treated and released from this hospital. Now a grand jury will investigate the shooting. That happens anytime somebody dies when in a situation with police in Nebraska. Now, for continuing coverage of the story, KMTV Action 3 News will keep you on top of this story at our website, action3news.com, on Facebook, as well as Twitter. That's it for now from here. We'll see you before the end of the broadcast. Reporting live, Craig Negrelli, KMTV Action 3 News. Carol, back to you.
All right, Craig. And still to come on KMTV Action 3 News live at 5, a restaurant tax debate heats up here in Omaha. One group of business owners saying it's not fair and not legal.